I can't wait.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bird Brothers podcast. I'm your host, Falcon, as always, joined with my good friend, Condor. How are you today, Condor?
I'm doing great there, Falcon, and I just like to say we are very excited to talk about our topic today, which is the 1982 sitcom Silver Spoon.
If you can't see it because the video's not up yet, but he's holding two spoons in his hands, which probably are not real silver. But hey, that's beside the point. He's very excited. So hooray! But yes, we're talking about Silver Spoon, the anime, not the sitcom.
Wait, what?
What?
I watched the sitcom.
You watched the wrong show?
I watched the wrong show, dude.
You should have realized it was wrong when there were real people there.
I thought they were trying a new take on something.
Sympathy for you.
Man,
None
I should have realized when I said
whatsoever.
1982 in the title.
I mean, you should have. I mean, the Silver Spoon I'm talking about was written by the person who wrote Full Metal Alchemist.
The person who wrote Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah.
So you're saying this must be a great series?
Well, we won't go that far. No, I really like it. It's really great. I know you watched it, so you can drop the bit now. Anyway, Silver Spoon is a story about a kid named Hachiken Yugo. He is not happy at his prep school, kind of depressed, don't know what he really wants to do, and decides he wants to go to a high school that has a dorm because he does not want to live at home anymore. So he ends up enrolling at Ezono, an agricultural high school 3 hours away from his home, where he learns about agriculture instead of just advanced studies.
So you saying this is Harvest Moon, the anime?
It pretty much is Harvest Moon, the anime, except nobody gets married. But, that's
Not
about
yet.
really the only difference. Their whole school is big enough. It's pretty much like a town. You got the horse stables and the dorms and everything else. You're pretty much good.
Basically, everything Falcon said. Basically, the main character is a guy who decided, hey, I hate my life. I'm gonna run away to this school. And he literally ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell the first episode, it was this guy who was like totally disinterested, didn't know what was happening. And it's just like, whoa, this is what's happening. And then you find out. I mean, I knew because you told me, but he doesn't really mention that the character he ran away from home to like episode 4 or 5 in season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially, his parents put a lot of stress on him to do really good at school. Kind of the stereotypical, like anime parent and stuff. You have to get great grades, and if you don't, what are you doing with your life? And he ends up, I think, failing one of his like entrance exams to like one of the like top high schools he was wanting to go to, and kind of just like decides to give up and run away from all the stress he's had. And his, I don't know if, I guess it's his homeroom teacher, recommends him go to this Ezono. I always forget how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Ezono.
Yeah, goes to this Ezono school. He said for kids like you, I recommend this place.
It is spelled Ezono.
Yeah.
But it's like a Japanese name, so obviously it's like Ezono. It's like Ezono or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. The school.
So here we have this character who is in a brand new setting, and he has no idea what's like happening at all. He's gonna be learning new things. He has no idea how his peers are going to act. And well, you see, his peers act literally like the best freaking people in the whole planet. Like, so wholesome. My god. I think I said this when I told Falcon this yesterday, but and I said this when we did our March Comes in Like a Lion podcast, but everyone in March Comes in Like a Lion was wholesome. Well, you know what? Silver Spoon here. Silver Spoon is just like, you know what? Let's take that and go even further beyond. Literally, like every single. I don't think I can think of a single person who was not wholesome. Maybe that thief in that one episode who was stealing.
Yeah, but he was literally there for literally like 2 seconds.
But he was still technically a thief.
True.
He wasn't being nice or wholesome.
He was stealing those strawberries, man.
Maybe the main character's father, but like, other than that, every single other character.
Yeah, I don't even say he's not really wholesome. He was just like that really strict dad. Like, we don't know that he really did anything like bad. He just had really high expectations that were hard to meet.
But basically, yeah, like oh my god, like I felt my heart being warmed up like a lot watching this show, and this was my first time watching it. We both watched it on Crunch. Yeah, of course it was my first time watching it. I've never heard of it before. You mentioned it. Yeah. I think I remember being interested in it, but I never like caught my eye until you.
Okay, it was like, I might watch that one day, and then gotcha.
This is your first time watching Silver Spoon?
Oh, this is my second time watching Silver Spoon.
This is your second time watching Silver Spoon.
I had seen it before.
Well, seems like the bar is a lot higher for you than it is for me, Falcon.
Maybe.
Is this anime dubbed at all, Falcon?
I don't believe so. The first time I watched it was in college. It was on Netflix. But I think even there, it was just the sub. I don't remember there ever being a dub of this. I could be wrong. It could be there, and I just haven't found it. But I'm pretty sure it's just subbed.
I'll look into it right now. But yeah, me and Falcon both watched
the wiki only has
anime.
Japanese voices, so I think it's just in Japanese.
It looks like it's just sub, which it makes sense because it's not like super popular. But basically, we both watched this on Crunchyroll. There's 2 seasons, but each season is split into 11 episodes. So it's 22 episodes in total. And if you are interested in reading the manga or perhaps just watching the anime, just know that the anime ends after chapter 75 in the manga. We just looked that up like before recording the podcast. I like to do that to keep the viewers informed. Sometimes they forget, sometimes it's not important. I don't know. It's weird. But after chapter 75, and there's a total of 131 chapters in the series in total. And the series actually ended recently, like last year, which is weird because the anime came out in 2013, 2014. But the reason for that is towards the end of the like volumes 13, 14, and 15 of the manga, there was like a lot of year gaps. I maybe the author couldn't think of what to add, or maybe something happened in her personal life to prevent her from finishing it. Maybe, I don't think it was Full Metal Alchemist. It might have been at the time, but not like in the recent years, because
no, that's been done for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, she could have been writing something else, and Silver Spoon was like when she was caught up on the other stuff that she would update it. But yeah, I don't really know. I know it took forever to come out though. Like it kept getting updated,
but it is finished. There is also a live action movie, which actually came out around the same time when season 2 ended. I actually looked. It came out March 7th. I think the season 2 anime ended March 27th of the same year. So that's a pretty interesting tidbit to add to the premise of the show. Anything you'd like to add about the premise before we get into the characters?
I mean, pretty much it's just a coming of age story, essentially. Like, it technically is just a slice of life show, but I think it definitely fits better the coming of age kind of story trope that we would have over here. Otherwise, I feel like the reason it's probably not dubbed or not really as well known over here, it's a show about farming. A kid at a farming high school who's doing farming things. And I feel like that's a hard sell for most people. Like we say, it's the Harvest Moon of anime. And Harvest Moon is insanely popular with a very small percentage of people. I did hear, though, that the new one that just came out last week has already sold over 700,000 copies. Which for a game like that is really great. Those normally average like I think 300,000 to 400,000 roughly.
Well, when I saw you playing it last night, it looked really. It was
a lot of fun. Farming some Fridays, Twitch.tv, Bro Falcon. That's what we're doing, playing some story seasons. So if you like Silver Spoon, want to see what this game's like, just pop on by. But yeah, that's really about all I guess we can add right now. Actually, we've talked about the school. This is the best place to probably put it. So I have a fun fact. So
fun fact.
The mangaka who wrote this actually went to an agriculture high school and used her experiences there to make the show, to kind of show what the actual agricultural business is like. But the school, Ezono, is actually based off a real high school in Japan, which is the Hokkaido Obihiro Agricultural High School. And yes, it is real. You can go there and see it. And apparently from the people who've seen it, it actually looks like the buildings from the actual show. So if you end up liking it and go to Hokkaido, you can swing by for a visit and make like a Silver Spoon pilgrimage if you wanted to.
I do know for a lot of slice of life animes, they do like to take the environment around them as like references to building some of the animations for the show. So that's really cool that they did the same thing for this anime.
Oh, apparently Obihiro, the town in Hokkaido, is one of the main farming towns. And apparently they have a park called Green Park, which is apparently what they also used somewhere during Silver Spoon, maybe at like the festival episode where they go to like the festival or fair or whatever. But apparently it is a park known for the world's longest bench. So you can also go see the world's longest bench.
Oh, not Bench Kun, who ruins relationships.
No. But yeah, so that was really fun that there's actually this school that you can go see if you want to.
It's a pretty fun fact. Yeah, but basically, as Falcon mentioned, the author used her real life experience to create this series because she also grew up on a farm as well. So it's pretty cool. I don't know how growing up on a farm relates to making one of the best animes ever, Fullmetal Alchemist. But hey, I mean, we all get inspiration from something.
I mean, just natural writing talent or lots of hard work. Yeah, we should probably hop into the characters now.
Oh,
Of
do we
course,
have to?
I
Can I
mean, I
just touch my
guess.
spoon some more?
I mean, you can touch your spoon while we're talking about the characters if you want.
that's
I
a
mean,
good
no one's going to
point.
judge you for it. Well, somebody may, but I won't.
Well, no one can see me doing it, so.
Well, I mean,
Not
they
yet.
will whenever we finally get more videos up
In
instead of just
2023.
audio. 2023, 2026 at this point. Let's be real. Anyway, our main character we said is Yugo. Hachiken.
The guy who, the yes man, he can never say no.
He is the yes man. He very rarely
yes
ever
man.
says no. So like you said, he's lived in Sapporo, which is like a bigger city. He's always gone to these prep schools and cram schools trying to get good grades to get into a great college, and ends up deciding to essentially run away and goes to, like he said when he's talking to his counselor, he doesn't care where he goes. He just wants there to be a dorm. So he ends up here at Ezono to the agricultural school, and he enrolls in dairy science, maybe just because it has science there. He's very great at studying. He's very smart. He's very reliable and dependable, though, and very hardworking.
He's probably the smartest person at his school.
Oh, he easily is the smartest person at his school. The first episode, when he sees what they're going through in like their general studies courses, he kind of starts looking down on everybody because he's like, this is like early middle school stuff. Like, I know this already, no problem. Why is this what we're doing in high school? But then he quickly realizes that most of his classmates have grown up on farms. So when it gets to the actual like dairy science and like livestock classes and farming classes, they know absolutely everything about it. Like, what were they talking about that one day? Was it about like some like equipment pertaining to like it was like animal gene splicing? They're talking about creating like animals from like nothing just through like science. And they were like, oh, well, then the gene splicing and they know everything about it. They just don't know how it relates to like normal, like general curriculum. But it's because that interest in that is their livelihood that will depend on that. So they know all about it. But then just knowing like algebra, they don't know algebra. Why do they need algebra? They work on a farm.
That is true. There's no point.
He kind of looks down on them until he realizes that they are smart, just in different areas that he's not as smart in.
He gets to know the people. So basically, I just want to say real quick, I thought this show was going to take a whole different turn when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be like how he was just going to be disinterested the whole time, and he was just going to care about his peers, and he just like was going to just focus on his studies and stuff. But that is not the show. I thought the main character was going to be kind of standoffish, if it makes sense. Kind of like on his own, didn't make any sense.
I can see that. He's already an introvert most of the time, but yeah, even that more introvert that's like, hey, come do this with us, not later, and just like keeps to himself and hides in his room. But that was not the case. I'm happy the show did not take that angle with this. I really appreciate what we got. But basically, Yugo Hachiken is our main character of the show. He has glasses because he's blind. He has brownish hair. He's kind of short. Would you say he's short? Does it have his height listed on here? I mean, he's not tall, but I don't know that I'd really say he's short. It does not have his height
medium
listed.
Height. That's unfortunate.
We'll just say he's average height.
He doesn't know what he wants to do with his future. Honestly, that's like one of the main problems with the. What's one of the main not problems? That's one of the main struggles that the Hachiken has with himself in the show, is that he doesn't know what he wants to do with himself. So he just likes to help other people out with their problems, or like just do his best. Like there's a festival that they have, and he literally goes all out for it, not even caring about like anything else, just focusing on it.
He's supposed to make sure it's a success.
Yeah. Which it was.
It very much was. But that's the thing about him. He doesn't have like a dream to work for. He's just studied his whole life and doesn't really care about it. But then he's at this school where this person wants to own their own chicken farm, and this person wants to have like a great cheese business, and this other person wants to become like a professional baseball player. And that way, when he retires, his family's farm will have more notoriety and they can make more money and just live better. Like they all have these dreams and goals for what they want to do. And he's just like, I'm just kind of here, not really doing anything. And so the school kind of helps him, but also at the start kind of makes him feel almost worse because everybody else he knows has all these dreams and he's just sitting there just trying to pass school. Just kind of dilly-dallying.
He ends up joining the equestrian club. I think that's the name of it, right, Falcon?
Yes.
Where basically, if you don't know what equestrian means, what the heck are you doing with your life? Obviously, it means horse riding. Come on. Yeah. He basically, and he doesn't join that. I think he joins that because he has a crush on one of the characters, obviously. That's like the main focus of, that's not the main focus, but it's like a side focus. He joins the equestrian club so he could learn to take care of horses. He doesn't even understand if he even loves the horses. He just, it's just something to do to fill the time he's not doing anything, honestly.
He's required to join a club. He wasn't even going to join a club. But then he was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do something cultural. Like, oh, we don't have cultural clubs. They're only sports. Or sport-related clubs. Like equestrian club is technically a sport. You have like events like horse racing and like jumping and that sort of thing. The girl he's crushing on invites him to join. And he even tells the principal at one point, he kind of cuts corners one day when cleaning one of the stalls, and the principal notices and asks if he likes horses. He's like, well, I wouldn't really say that I really like them, but he's doing it because he had to do something. So if he does a club, might as well be in the club with a girl he has a crush on.
Something.
He finally kind of admits like he doesn't necessarily really care about the horses. He just has to have something to do. And the principal's pretty much is like, well, one thing about horses is they're very respectful creatures. They want to be shown respect, and they can tell when you've cut corners. And pretty much kind of lets them know like you're going to have to like make sure you do a good job the whole time, or the horses will know and they won't like you. Yeah.
Hachiken Yugo is definitely one of the most hardworking people I've ever seen in a show. I will say that. Considering he has no knowledge about anything with like farming or like cows or animals, he goes like he does a really good job.
And that kind of comes to a head during that festival he was planning for. Some things happened and he may or may not miss the festival due to reasons.
Yeah, he missed the festival.
Yeah.
He collapsed.
He overworked himself. Yeah. He overworked himself. Because he was doing the equestrian club stuff where they were doing like a special kind of horse racing where they had to make the track. So they had to make the track, train the horses, get the riders, make the carts, paint the carts, helping out all that.
I think he was also managing the budget for his class as well.
Yes, he was having to manage his class's budget for the class project, help out in other ways there. And then other clubs just kept dragging him in to help with random things for their projects. And
his roommates, because there were times in the past where his roommates covered for him when he forgot something. So they like cashed in their like favors then and there to like extra work him. Which I can understand for like the comedy reasons. But Jesus, can't you see he's already working himself, roommates? God.
Yeah, he's known as the yes man at the school. And you find out towards the end when he finally tells somebody no, they're like, we weren't counting on that. You're the yes man. And there's like, why can't you do it? He tells them like, I'm helping this friend with their studies and I don't want to half-ass it. I want to make sure if I'm helping them, I'm helping them. This is so they can accomplish their dream. And they're like, don't worry about it. Promise between friends. Like, we got it. We'll figure something out.
Is that character development I hear?
Yeah. He develops a lot. He's a very different character from season 1 to season 2. He's still introverted, but he's way more outgoing, way more talkative, actually understands stuff better. He's gotten over his whole, like, at the start, even he doesn't like eating because he finds out where like a lot of the food comes from.
Which is a main, I actually do want to go into that more a little later. I'm sure you do too, but that's one of the main focuses of, that's actually the main focus of season 1, to be honest.
I mean, like the very first episode, they're gathering eggs from the chicken coop and he sees a chicken poop out an egg. And he asks Tokiwa, who's one of his classmates, he's like, wait, where did the eggs come from? He's like, oh, the anus. And he's just like, what? And it's like, well, technically it's called like the cloaca or whatever. And he's like going into this deep thing about it. And like, you see him at lunch and or at breakfast and everyone's just like eating the eggs. And he just keeps having these like terrified looks at everybody just eating the eggs. He has to finally get over the fact of like, yeah, food doesn't always come exactly where you think it comes from, but
it doesn't.
You have to eat at some point, especially when you're waking up at 4 a.m. to get to your practicum by 5 to do all this work before breakfast. And then have the rest of your day doing farm work. I really like it. They go into a lot of stuff here that I really appreciate.
I will say though, after seeing obviously the pigs, the cows, and the all of them getting killed to the slaughterhouse used for meat, yeah, I'm still gonna eat meat.
Yeah,
I love meat. Sorry, and I'll go into that I'll go into that in a later when we talk about that. I kind of want to do that after favorite moments or something around
Yeah, we
there.
can do that. We can go into all that stuff more.
But do you like Yugo Hachiken as a main character, Falcon?
Oh, I love Hachiken as a main character. He's one of my favorite main characters ever. I don't know if he is like my most favorite main character, but he's easily top 5.
That's you.
Yeah, I know you're pointing
You can't
at Subaru
see me, but I'm pointing at my Subaru character.
I know you so well.
Where is it? I have it right here in my ReZero blanket. Look at that. Do you see him in the middle? That's him.
I see him in the middle.
The best character in the world.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I'm biased.
That's a story for another day.
We're all biased. I will say about Hachiken that he probably sorry.
He's randomly showing a Joker from Persona plushie. He's like, look at this. Okay, here we go.
He's definitely my top 10 favorite.
And now you just showed a Luffy. Does this mean One
Piece?
Stop
distracting the crowd from our conversation, Falcon.
I'm just making sure they know what's going on.
Bit on my laptop. Not cool, dude. I will.
Anyway, continue.
He's probably my top 10 favorite main characters, Hachiken, because his dedication to what he wants to do is great. Even though he's not confused, he's confused at what he wants to do in the future. He's still giving everything his all, the best as he can. And I'm sure as the series finishes and continues, he'll probably find something he wants. If he doesn't, that'd be kind of weird and stupid, but I know that's not this type of anime, so looking forward to it in the future.
All right. Anything you want to say about Hachiken, or should we move on to next character?
All the anime titles had mostly Hachiken in the title, so that's how I never forgot his name.
This is a show that has a lot of characters, but a lot of them don't show up much.
Or most of them. So this show is good, guys. We're just gonna say that we're talking about a lot of characters today, but the first 3, Hachiken and the next 2. Are they gonna get the most focus? Because they actually got the most focus in both of the seasons, honestly. The other characters are just I would call them side characters. They are definitely side characters, but they have prevalence. A side character, if there wasn't a side character, our main characters wouldn't be able to grow.
Right.
That's the point of a side character, because they're not the main focus, because they've already lived their life. They've already had their time to grow as people. So that's why they use their knowledge to give to the main character so they can grow. I believe that's what a side character truly embodies.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to think about it in like easy terms, like the main 3 we have are essentially Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and then all the rest are your Nevilles and your Seamuses and your Deans and all those people who are just
no
the Gryffindor house that are there. Yeah,
it's just that this whole anime was Gryffindor.
I mean, maybe you could argue that Tomoko would be a Slytherin because she kind of does some like sneaky things, but even then, they're never like malicious. She sees like an opportunity and takes it. But we can talk about Tomoko later. She's one of the people we'll refer to.
Yes.
But next, do you want to guess who's next? We're not talking about Luffy. We are talking about Aki Mikage, the love interest for our main man Hachiken.
Whoa, Aki Mikage! But did you know she has purple hair?
She does have like a purpley hair, and she loves horses.
She loves horses. That's a little weird, dude.
I mean, she wants to work with horses forever, man. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Why don't you give the audience a great description of Aki Mikage right now?
All right, so Aki Mikage is a female student with Hachiken. He is in love with her. She's very kind, but she really keeps to herself. She doesn't share her feelings a lot, and that's something Hachiken kind of ends up realizing later on. She's very not smart, but she's very hardworking. She's very kind and caring for the most part, especially to the people that she's really good friends with. Maybe not to everybody. Her family runs a dairy farm, and that's how she got into the school. She didn't get in because of grades. She got in because of a referral.
Yeah, most of the students that get in through referrals.
So like Ezono has like fairly normal to like advanced like entrance requirements, but they have like because I guess it's one of the like the better agriculture schools, but they have like really lax referrals for kids who are like who already work on a farm or parents who own farms, because they're also the kids who are probably going to be taking those businesses over. So you find out a lot of the students there aren't very smart. They got in because of a essentially a scholarship.
I think it was Tokiwa, or I don't know if it was him or some other classmates, but they went up to Hachiken and they're like, here's my test score. Sometimes it's really great when I get double digits on it.
Yeah, it was Tokiwa. So he's a character that I think we have on the list. Yeah, we have him on the list.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah, but he gets tutored by Hachiken, and he gives Hachiken a score, and Hachiken's like
he's like, bruh,
done. He's just like done. Like how could I have been so bad at tutoring you? You got a 10. He's like, dude, this is great. I finally got double digits. That never happens. And it's like, what? And he's like, I told you, never underestimate my stupid. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I guess the best thing about Mikage is she's just like incredibly focused. She knows what she wants and she wants to get it. But she's very timid and doesn't really know how to express herself. So while she knows what she wants and is working towards it, she doesn't really know how to tell other people about it.
And that has to do with just her life in general, which I don't want to go into to save it for the show. But basically, because of her, not because of her upbringing, but because of it's the expectations she has from her family. Because when you're in a farm family, obviously it's really hard to make money and stuff. So when they expect your kin to keep the dream alive, which our character here, Mikage, might not like that, not want to do that. You know?
Yeah, and Hachiken ends up working for their family over one of their like breaks from school because he doesn't want to go home. And so he ends up working there, and they really like Hachiken, so they keep talking about like, oh, maybe Mikage will end up marrying Hachiken because he would be someone else who'd be great to help take over the farm. So like you find out even very early on, her family is like, cool, when Mikage gets out of high school, she's taking over the family farm, and maybe she'll get married to Hachiken, and then we just have two great people working at the farm, you know. So it's you find out that her life is kind of planned out for her, and she may or may not want that life, but she doesn't know how to really tell people. Which is something that is kind of, I guess, her main plot point besides being like a love interest is Hachiken trying to figure out how to get her to like open up so he can better help her.
The love interest thing didn't really take place that much until season 2. You could argue
there was always an inkling. There. You could kind of tell.
And then there was that girl in the equestrian club who knew that he had feelings, that Hachiken had feelings for Aki, you know. It was pretty funny, but I felt like the love interest route wasn't like one of the main focuses.
Not until the second season.
Because of Hachiken, he spent a lot of time with her because he was interested. But I feel like, you know, you could just argue that it wasn't out of love, but it was out of just general caring for other people and trying to find out who he is as a person.
I think season 1, the best way to describe it is they're kind of curious about each other. He thinks she's cute, and she talks him into joining the equestrian club because he's somewhat interested, but he's not really focused on like trying to date her. She's just someone he's kind of interested in like getting to know and kind of learning about. And she's kind of curious about him. He's the city guy who's really good at studying, who's only been to prep schools, and he ends up at an agriculture school where he has to take care of animals that he knows nothing about, like at least 1 week every month, like waking up early and cleaning the stalls, doing everything. Like we even find out at one point he's the only one there, so he has to help like them birth the calf out of a cow because it's breached or whatever. So he's having to do all this stuff he knows nothing about and really isn't prepared for. So I feel like there's this general curiosity about them where they're wanting to interact because they don't really understand each other but are kind of interested. And then season 2 is finally where they finally kind of like have that love connection, and at that point everybody realizes it because you even find out Cheese Girl and a lot of the others are like, what are you all doing? Just date already. Like, one of you all man up, ask the other one out. But they're like, what are you talking about? They're like, you all are just get over it.
Well, he knows, obviously.
Yeah.
And she's just not airheaded, but she's just oblivious to that fact.
Yeah.
And then when it's pointed out, she's like, oh God, how am I going to interact with him from now on?
And I think too, part of season 1, I think Hachiken thinks she's crushing on somebody else.
Yeah.
Because of the other main character. Yeah. But then he quickly finds out they're just like childhood friends. So they're just like super close because their farms are right beside each other.
I mean, I'll admit in the beginning of season 2, when they were talking to each other, Aki and that other character who we'll talk about next, and then you see a tear shed from her eye, I thought she confessed to him and he rejected her. That's what I thought. That's what I thought the anime was gearing towards. And then that's not what it did.
Right. But yeah. Anything else you want to add about Aki, or shall we move on to next person?
She's not best girl.
Correct. All right.
Who's best girl for you?
I guess we can. No, not Ayame. Ayame is the girl who is too stupid to get into Ezono, even with the referral system. She has to be dumber than Tokiwa, who got a 10 on his math test and was like, I'm the smartest guy ever.
I love the opening where she's like, I'm like, oh, we got an actual character in the show. God.
I was really hoping we'd get a season 3 because I was curious if she would actually get into the school. Something happens and one of the characters has to leave. And she hears that she applied again because she heard a spot opened up. But they never say if she ever got in. So I'm really curious on like if she would have gotten in that next semester and if she would have been there instead. But that's something to talk about another day. But we're not talking about her. She only shows up like what, maybe 3 episodes?
3-4 times.
In season 2, not even in season 1. So we're not talking about her today. But moving on to our Ron of the trio, we have Ichiro Komaba.
Ichiro Komaba.
Whoa. Tell us about Komaba, Condor.
Oh, you want me to tell you about this guy? Well, we got this guy. His name is Ichiro Komaba. You know, he looks like a really like strict guy. Honestly, he looks a little mean. Honestly,
he's that very like serious look about him.
Very serious guy, but he's a very caring individual. He cares about the animals. He cares about his family. He loves baseball. He loves it. He's always practicing with baseball. He wants to be the best baseball star ever, so he can help his family and help his family retire, because he has his mom and his 2 sisters, and his dad unfortunately passed away in an accident, leaving a lot of problems for the farm. But that's why he wants to be a baseball star, so he can be good for his family. But basically, he has black hair. He's actually really tall.
He's super tall.
Black eyes, black hair. You know, he always wears jeans. Always wears a nice, not like, he doesn't like to express himself that much either. He's kind of just he was plain clothes, you know.
Yeah, he's, if you had to have an anime character that looks just like an average everyday dude, he just looks like a very tall average everyday dude. Yeah, even like when he's out of school, he's just wearing like jeans and a black t-shirt. Like, that's pretty much it. Like the others have like a little more style to him, and he's just like, I don't care. Like, this is what I need to do. Like, he works on the farm and then he plays baseball. He doesn't need anything fancy.
As we mentioned, Ichiro is close friends with Aki. Their farms are very close to each other. And there's a lot more there that we could get into if we wanted to. But basically, he does take his things very seriously. You know, he always cares for everything. He's very knowledgeable about the farms. He kind of looked like he'd be a smart person, but I don't think they really focus on his grades ever, do they?
I don't think we ever hear about how smart or dumb he is. He's just like very honest and polite and like hardworking.
I love how you added the "and dumb."
I mean, we don't really know. He could be dumb, but he doesn't seem like, he seems like he's fairly smart.
You could just say smart.
Hey, I'm just making sure we have our bases covered in case people are like, "Oh, you said he might be smart, but you didn't say that he might be dumb." You know, we have to think about these things, Condor. Okay,
I guess
I'm doing that for us.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, he wants to play baseball. He's the first year. He ends up getting to start on the Ezono baseball team, so that's fun.
He's a pitcher.
He is a pitcher.
He can throw a fastball. Like,
yeah,
wow, there it goes. Wow.
Turned into a baseball anime. What? This is
I knew it was a baseball
Ace of Diamond or Gurazeni, but hey, you know, whatever. But yeah, Hachiken also kind of ends up stumbling on his family's farm at one point, which is kind of funny because he got lost, and Komaba just finds him. I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing out here? There's wolves out here.
I honestly thought that house was with Ichiro's farm for a second. I'm like, wait, what? Why is it all run down and everything? And then you just see him behind him, like, what the heck?
I just know that he's like, dude, there's freaking bears out here. Why are you wandering around here at night? I got lost on my walk. Figures, come with me. It's just like whatever. But I really like Komaba. I think he kind of knows what Hachiken is thinking and like knows how he needs to fix it. Or like, I forgot what happened, but Hachiken like messes up at one point. He's just like, dude, get over it. Like, yeah, it happened. Let's fix it and don't do it again. Like, he's kind of the person who can rein Hachiken in from like stressing out too much. He's kind of that like person who kind of reassures him, but in like a very, not like in a caring way. He doesn't ever say like, oh, it's okay. Like, he's very kind of strict and blunt about it, but he also, what he says kind of helps reassure Hachiken, or that's kind of the vibe I got a lot in the start.
I would agree with that. Basically, they have a lot of they kind of they don't fight, but they have some like arguments between each other. Hachiken and Ichiro in the beginning to like understand each other, but it's cool. So that's why Ichiro can like understand Hachiken to a degree. But it's like, hey, it's fine. Just cheer up.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta do.
I think even when he was taking care of the cows one day, he did something or was complaining about something, and he pretty much was like, treat the cows with respect. If it wasn't for the cows, you're like, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to make a living. He's like, they can tell. He's like, you may think they're just some dumb animal, but nope, they can tell.
They have intelligence.
Yeah, and
they are smart.
Yeah, so he kind of is, kind of the early kind of voice of reason for Hachiken on a lot of things.
That's right.
I really liked Kamaba, but that he doesn't really have much of a personality or anything. So
no, he's kind of, as we mentioned, he's just the guy who's there.
Yeah,
but he has more presence than the other characters in a sense because the anime does focus on him.
Yeah, and there's reasons they focus on him, not besides his character, which we can't really get too much into without having some of the bigger spoilers. So we're not talking about it just yet. But we can talk about him more there. So I guess we should move on.
Did you know? It's actually funny because on the Wikia, the main character doesn't have any trivia facts, but so
there's one for Kamaba.
And it is Ichiro's name roughly translates to the first son.
Because he is the first son.
He is the first son.
And then he has 2 twin little sisters.
He does, and they're so kawaii.
They're so kawaii. Okay, anyway, moving on to the side characters. Do you want to guess which side character we shall be talking about? No, because
I don't. We literally mentioned like 5, and I forget.
You keep forgetting their names. Next, we're going to talk about Aikawa.
Vet boy.
Do you remember who Aikawa is, Condor?
Well, I literally just said vet boy.
Yeah. We're
but the thing is, with my. I mean, I watched. If I watched the anime like all the way through, I'd probably do it. I mean, that's like I watched the anime all the way through. If I watched it like back to back, like all 22 episodes back to back, I'd probably remember. But I also, because I space out the episodes, like I try to watch like 3 to 4 a day, sometimes more. But the anime focused on Aikawa here for a little bit. But he even has a dang freaking trivia fact. What the hell? But they didn't really focus on him that much. I do remember Aikawa. If you said Aikawa, I probably like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy who does the vet. Or you said vet boy, be like, oh, I know vet boy.
Yeah. So Aikawa's thing is he wants to become a vet. So he's at Ezono hoping that he can learn more about veterinary science and more just science about agriculture in general. He wants to work on I guess he wants to be a big animal vet or a large animal vet is what they call it. I guess, which is more like working on cows and horses and that sort of thing, not your little dogs and cats. But he's there hoping that he'll be able to figure out more how to be a vet and what all that entails. So that way when he eventually applies for vet school, he can, do it easier. But he also is kind of conflicted. He's not good with blood and surgery and all that sort of thing. So he's kind of hoping while he's there, he can get used to more of that sort of thing during his time at the school. So that way he can be better prepared to be a vet. Because I think he says it's been his dream since he was 7 or 8. That's always what he's wanted to do. So even though he knows he's not the most suited for it, he wants to get it done. Personality wise, he's very kind, but also really shy and kind of meek. He doesn't really talk much. Yeah, even despite his tendency to faint at the sight of blood. He did watch the video about the slaughterhouse, and he was.
That's what I was gonna mention.
I completely forgot about that.
No, that's what I was gonna mention. There was a part where the teacher's like, "Hey, we're gonna show a video about what happens to animals at the slaughterhouse, like how they get meated up and everything." And there was a lot going on. We'll get into that later. But Aikawa was one of the ones who decided to go watch it because basically it's important to know what happens to animals, especially if you're a vet, because you have to know them all inside and out, everything about them. So this was a good experience for him. So even though he probably felt really weak, very faint-hearted and weak, he still stuck by it and decided to further himself in his goal. So that's very respectful. That's why I wish the anime focused more on him, but they didn't, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, at the start he seems like he's gonna be one of like the main three.
Because Hachiken was like the one who started talking to him first, or like everybody.
Yeah,
So
in the
that's why
first 2 or 3 episodes, he's in there like all the time, and then they kind of just like phase him out, which is kind of sad. I really liked him a lot.
The practicums. Those happen all the time or sometimes.
So they had 4 groups for practicum. So each group had a week of practicum. So Hachiken was in group A. So that first week of the month, they had to wake up at 5 o'clock to do the practicum stuff.
Yeah. So
then the next week it was group B, then group C, then group D.
So that's why I guess they never really focus on him that much, because sometimes the only other time he'd interact with him is class. Other than that, he'd be at the horse club or doing other stuff, you know?
Yeah, and he's not at the horse club,
that's why
sadly.
They didn't focus. He joined the Holstein club with the senpais who like to touch cows.
Yeah, so Holstein is like a sport where you breed cows to have like the best like look and body shape and stuff. It's essentially a cow beauty pageant. But they made the third years like overly creepy about it. It's like, do you want to touch the udders? I was
messaging my friends, and I'm like, I'm watching this anime about these guys who literally want to have sex with cows. It's great.
Pretty much, yeah. They try to get Hachiken to join, and luckily the equestrian club teacher comes by, is like, Holstein 30 years, don't force people to join your club. Like, if they want to join, they'll join, but don't drag them and try to force them into it. But people need to learn to love cows. It's like, oh, yeah. Hachiken finds out Aikawa joins the Holstein club. And he's like, what the hell? He's like, he's like, one, yeah, the upperclassmen are kind of out there. He's like, but it's a very respected thing. And also it'll help me learn more about cows, learn them like more inside and out, which is something he'd need to know for being a vet. So he joined it, not because the creepy 30 years like forced him to, but because he recognized he could put up with him for a year. But then the rest of the Holstein club actually would be beneficial to him for his career.
Not having any knowledge about like what Holstein is before, I literally thought the Holstein club was like an animal lovers club. But then when Aikawa explained it, it's like, oh no, we just like watch the animal love club, learn their habits, learn about them. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty and
if I'm correct, Holstein is actually just like a certain like breed of cow. So they only breed Holsteins.
Yeah, I remember because don't they have competitions in the Holstein club? I think one time
they have to like
on the screen.
They're great on like how straight the back is. They talk about, we can like whip the fur so it looks more straight if it's not. And yeah, we can, but they're probably going to tell we're going to get points knocked off. They had all the different like criteria to like what the perfect Holstein is, and whoever can get closest to the perfect Holstein wins the competitions. I really like the episode about the video, which we can get into later if we want to. Otherwise, not much more about him other than he's just trying to get over his blood issues so he can become a vet.
Next character.
We shall spin the wheel. It is not Chicken Boy. The wheel I have spun.
I want to talk about Chicken Boy.
You want to talk about Chicken Boy?
I want to talk about Chicken. I'm throwing you a curveball. I'm throwing you a curveball. We might as well talk about the people who started the practicum with him right now, right?
All right.
And next is Chicken Boy. We got Tokiwa.
KG Tokiwa.
Is it like Toki, like a bird call?
Maybe. Let's see if it's in the fun facts. His only trivia is that he resembles Connie from Attack on Titan.
Wait, what?
He literally just has a buzz cut.
That's not
with
even
like a little like rat tail at the back because he has it's not even a buzz cut. It's just like slicked back. But yeah, I can kind of see it, but like really, this came out before Attack on Titan. Why are you saying he resembles Connie from Attack on Titan? I think this came out before Attack on Titan. When did Attack on Titan start actually?
Oh, well, you're looking that up. Tokiwa basically grew up his family owns a chicken farm, so he's very familiar with chickens, and that's where all of his knowledge comes from. But he is literally the idiot of the show. It is kind of sad, especially there was even a part where the teachers are like, "Oh my God, he's an idiot. This dog is smarter than him," which is sad. But basically, he's a very hyperactive guy. He always gets the wrong idea about things. There's even a part where the main character and this other girl are talking in the pig pen, and he sees them and he assumes that the main character got that girl pregnant. He starts spreading the rumor, and it was really funny. It was pretty funny moment. He gets a lot of the comedy moments of the show. Other than that, he doesn't really get that much focus. He's kind of short. He has black hair, black eyes. I kind of liked his hairstyle season 1 when he had the little ponytail at the end.
Yeah.
It really looked good on him. And then they just gave him the buzz cut. I'm like, why did they do that? How could they do this to my boy?
I mean, they did it because he came back with like that like fashion that he got into whatever over the break, and it broke all the school rules, so they had to like made him shave it.
But like,
which makes sense why I wouldn't be there for a bit, but he could have like grown it back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He could have grown back, and it would have been cool to see that. But unfortunately, that was not the case.
But also, I was wrong. Silver Spoon, the manga, started in 2011. Attack on Titan actually started in 2009.
What?
I thought Attack on Titan was like 2000. I was thinking 2011, 2012-ish. I remember it coming out like when I was in college, but I thought I was like in college by a year and not like just starting college. So technically, Connie could have been the influence for it.
Possibly.
Probably
not, but possibly.
Probably not, no. Do
you have anything to add about Tokiwa that I haven't added?
I mean, we've pretty much said it. I mean, he seems like he's a really good friend to Hachiken. He seems to like it, but also, I mean, pretty much he's the dumb comic relief character. He's just there really to make jokes. He starts the rumor about Hachiken and Cheese Girl because he sees them talking about something one day. He apparently he's a self-proclaimed otaku, which is weird because we never see him like with otaku stuff, but we see Nishikawa with that.
That was one of his roommates.
Like we see him like building the figures and stuff.
Which
apparently Tokiwa is though.
I didn't.
Maybe that's in the manga and it's just not at the show, because in the show he doesn't mention it. I think he may have mentioned like watching like an anime at one point.
Yeah, he did.
But like other than that, like he didn't ever talk about it. That's really about it.
It's not a big thing, so they probably just took it out.
Probably.
And just decided to focus it on the other guy who built the anime stuff, which was so weird, but I mean, nice, I guess.
Yeah. I remember the first time I watched it, I got Tokiwa and the roommate guy Nishikawa mixed up a lot because they look very similar if it wasn't for Nishikawa's little like bangs in the front of his hair. That's all I had to figure it out. Like Tokiwa, ponytail, Nishikawa, bangs.
That's all we got about Tokiwa, because he doesn't really do much in the show either.
Yep. Next,
other than be tutored by the main character.
I think the final practicum character
out
of that group is Tamako. She was who I was going to go to last time.
Is she your best girl, Falcon?
She's not my best girl now. But I do really like Tamako. Tamako is a really fun character.
Is your best girl Cheese Girl?
Cheese Girl, yes.
Wow.
But Tamako, she is the daughter of like one of the biggest farms in the area. It's called Giga Farm because it's just huge. A lot of the other people, they're on like really small like farms that they only employ their family. They don't really have anybody else as like farm hands. They like have all the latest equipment, a huge number of cows. They have farm hands they've hired. She's very much on efficiency, where all the rest.
She wants to overthrow her family.
She does want to overthrow her family, and it's totally fun. Especially the episode where you actually like go visit her farm, so you can see the difference between like the Mikage's farm and her farm. And like Mikage's farm is like, making sure you hand brush them and like give them care and love, and they're just like, yeah, we can load like 15 cows on this like merry-go-round at a time. They get milked and then they get put off, and we load 10 more cows in 2 minutes, we're done. Like they're very much about efficiency and getting the most money out of what they can, which is really impressive, because farming, even if you have a big farm, you don't make a lot of money, unfortunately. Which is something else we could talk about later, because Mikage brings up some stuff about that later on, which is fun.
Oh, she does. But she also has a skinny form.
She does have a skinny form, but she hates it. And like she actually is like attractive in the skinny form. She's normally like pretty fat. And even like I think Tokiwa, it's funny, when they first come back from the first break and they see that she's lost weight, and nobody recognizes her except the girls. And the girls recognize it's her, and all the guys freak out. And then Tokiwa shows up later and is like, who's the babe? The babe wasn't here last time. Who's that? What? And then finally, like, you hear one of the girls be like, oh, hey, Tamako. And he just like freaks out. It's like, what the hell? Like, you're hot. Why don't you stay like this? And she's like, are you kidding? I'm anemic. I'll die if I stay this thin. It's like, no, you're a normal like weight for once. But yeah, she's convinced when she's that thin, she's like really sickly. So she like literally like the next morning is like gained all the weight back somehow. And then later on, the school festival, they want an attractive girl to get more people interested in the horse races, because they don't think many people will be interested. So they get her to lose weight just for the horse races, so that way they can get more people interested. That she gains it back like the next day again, which is just like a fun gag. But she's the person we joked around could have been a Slytherin. But she's very caring, but she's very shrewd and she likes figuring out efficiency no matter what's efficient.
I feel like Tomoko was I don't know if you felt this way, but I feel like she was a good, important stepping stone in Hachiken's growth as a character. I feel like she was there a lot of moments. She gave a lot of good advice to Hachiken, and sometimes. What do you agree with that?
Yeah, I really appreciate her character. Like, I remember the first time I watched, I was like, oh, she's kind of like the mean girl who's like kind of like the bad guy in agriculture, but it's really not.
Got that
like,
vibe.
I watched it when I was a lot younger. Like this came out when I watched this.
That
I was like 19 probably.
Has to be bad guy. That guy, bad guy.
Yeah, it's like I was trying to figure out like who the bad guy was, so I just kind of associated Tomoko with that. When really there isn't a bad guy in Silver Spoon.
I would love to hear what young Falcon thought when Tomoko got like skinny. Oh God, she's hot.
I was like, what? Like, I was just like, whoa, okay, like she lost a lot of weight, and then like the next episode, I was like, how did she gain it back already? Like how? Like we've moved forward maybe like a week. But yeah, it was it threw me off like big time. I thought it was funny though. But yeah, she's I guess very shrewd is a way to do it. Very mischievous, kind of conniving. Even find out like with the teacher, she like makes all these bets and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
and usually comes out on top. There's an episode they go to the horse races and one of the teachers is betting, and he's like, oh, students can't bet. Like, oh, we don't want to bet. We just want to show Hachiken what Banai racing is like. Cool. And then you see Tomoko's like in the background wearing like sunglasses with all these like bet vouchers or tickets or whatever, and she ends up winning in the end. Yeah, I really like Tomoko. The second time rewatching it, I appreciated her a lot more than I did.
She's
the
shrewd.
First time.
She's a shrewd businesswoman, I'll say.
Yeah, but she's not like a bad person. Normally, if you see like in shows and TV, like the shrewd person's always this really evil, manipulative person. Like she's not. This is just what she's interested in. It's like a game to her almost.
Other than
she wants to figure out the best way to do it.
10 seconds in the show, I don't think anyone was generally a bad person in this show.
I do think my favorite Tomoko moment is in episode 1. Do you know what moment I'm talking about?
No, I actually don't. So remind me.
When they're going on their first practicum and the storm their second practicum. And the storm blows the tarp off one of like the coops.
Oh, then she's just like, oh.
they're having to like hold it down to like re-put it in the like peg it into the ground, and they're all just like average build people. And Tomoko, like, she's big. She's like 200-300 pounds, like big. And somehow she's flapping in the wind, being carried away like she weighs like an ounce. And they have to get Hachiken to go like try to like pull her into the tarp with her on it back down to the ground. Like, I just thought like every time I see that, I laugh like crazy. It's great. I love it. It's my favorite Tomoko moment by far. But yeah, anything else you want to add about Tomoko, or shall we move on?
No, I think we've covered her pretty well.
All right. So next, we're done with all the practicum students. Do we want to move to either roommates? Cheese girl. All right.
Your favorite girl.
So best girl is Mayumi Yoshino, aka Cheese Girl. Her dream is she wants to have her own like brand of cheese and have this cool cheese shop.
Falcon likes cheese. Confirmed.
I actually really don't like cheese. I am not a fan of cheese. I've never have like solid cheese. Fine, melted cheese, pizza, like cool. But there's something about like cheese, especially if it's melted, that I just can't stand. I don't know if it's texture or what. I get a lot of hate for it. So go on and give me more if you want to. I don't care.
Now here's something I didn't know.
Yeah, like
apparently she's in the badminton club.
Interesting. Like I remember she at one point she watches like the equestrian club and like was like, oh, maybe I should have joined equestrian, but they never said what she joined.
Apparently
in the show.
She uses the badminton racket in episode 7 of season 2.
Oh wait, she does. She like hits Tokiwa with it or something.
Oh, that's right. I remember that episode.
That's the one where Tomoko comes back after losing all the weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the hell? You got hot!" And she smacks him with it. That's what it was.
No, I think that was earlier. I think this was something else.
Was it? Maybe. I mean, that's about halfway through, and I thought that was roughly when they did all that stuff. Maybe I'm just thinking wrong. Wait, I have an episode list up, I think, somewhere.
I think wasn't episode 7 like the Culture Festival around or after it?
That was where they visit Giga Farm.
Episode of season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, they visited Giga
Farm. Oh no,
season 2.
1. You said season 1. I said season 2. My bad. That is Komaba stands on the pitcher mound. That's the one where they're all watching the
one where
Hachiken
gives like birth to like 3 calves.
Yes.
That was great. Poor Hachiken. No, I don't want to give birth.
Yeah.
I don't want.
You're the only Terry science student still here. Let's go. It's like no. Yeah, for Hachiken that day. Yeah, she's really cheerful. She's kind of, I guess, your most like normal girl out of all. Mikage's fairly normal girl.
Mikage's the most normalist, I'd say. I say Cheese Girl is a little hyperactive, just a teeny bit.
Yeah, not a lot. She's fairly calm most of the time. I say she's very excitable. She's usually really calm and collected until like someone talks about like cheese or something else she's really like into, and then she just gets super excitable. Like when they find the teacher's hidden cheese stash because they realize they have a cheese processing room, but they don't have any courses on making cheese, and they figure out where the cheese is hidden, which gets them into many shenanigans. And also she apparently gets she really doesn't get too much importance until Hachiken decides to make pizza. Because they need the cheese, they like rope her in, and then she kind of becomes kind of like a permanent stay. But she's very devious when she wants something, like super devious. She always finds ways to steal Nakajima-san's cheese, much to his dismay. So much so that he literally calls in sick for like 2 weeks from school because he's dismayed that she's found a way to use all of his cheese.
That was great.
I thought that was great. But then because of that, he ends up finally teaching them how to make cheese, which is something she was really interested in. So she ended up in the end getting what she wanted. She wanted to learn how to make cheese. She got told how to make cheese. But that's really all there is to her. She is very kind of like supportive. She's there. She's one of the people who realizes early on about Hachiken and Mikage kind of liking each other. And she tries to get them together more often to have them like together because she thinks that would just be fun. But she also like, it's not on the wiki or anything, but she usually kind of recognizes when people are about to do something really stupid and kind of like doesn't participate in it. Like when they decide to sneak out to look at the tractor, like all the guys are interested, a few of the girls are interested, and she's just like, that's stupid. Have fun with detention. I'm out. Like she just has no interest in it whatsoever. Trying to make sure the wiki, see if there's anything that I've missed.
I feel like you really covered all the good points about her. I really feel like there wasn't anything else that really.
Oh, I read a spoiler.
The side character, so there's nothing really about it. Oh no, Falcon got spoiled.
Yeah.
No, I guess I already told you she went to France earlier, so.
Yeah, and we kind of had a feeling because at the end of season 2, she's like, I think I want to take this program in France. But then
so we were literally trying to figure out where like the manga ended, and like each like a lot of the things are like spring. So the manga goes spring, summer, autumn, winter, 4 seasons. So we assumed that the end of it, I checked the end of autumn and that wasn't it. That was like in the middle of season 2. So then I checked the middle of winter, and literally the first thing was, oh hey Yoshino, welcome back from France, how was it? And I'm like, no, that's definitely not it.
Yeah that's pretty much it we can say for Yoshino. She's a fun character, but she doesn't really do a whole lot besides be there to like add commentary to whatever's happening. She's like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like the school friends who are just there. She's like the Taya Gardner of the show, but more interesting than Taya Gardner. But yeah. Anyway, that is it for Yoshino, which means we're moving to the roommates.
Oh heck yeah! We got the roommates of Hachiken. We got Beppo
and Nishikawa. They kind of both serve the same purpose in Hachiken's life, so we kind of lump them together. Let's see.
They don't really get that much. They're good. They're good roommates. They're really wholesome.
Yeah, Beppu especially. I guess we can kind of highlight Beppu first because he's the first one we kind of meet out of them. On Hachiken's first day of waking up for practicum, he slips him like an energy bar because he's like, "Hey man, you're gonna need this. Breakfast isn't for several hours." And he also knows that Hachiken's not like done farm work before, so he really doesn't know what he's getting into. But Beppu's always kind of like got Hachiken's back. I'd almost say that he's almost Hachiken's like best friend in a way at the school. He's a food science student. I think he's the first food science student we really meet.
Yeah,
because he's interested in just like making really tasty foods. He doesn't care about like his family's farm. He just wants to be able to take their products and turn it into like a restaurant almost kind of. But there's several times where Hachiken gets so busy like helping other people out, he misses his cleaning duty. And when he realizes it and is worried about getting detention, Beppu's like, "Hey man, don't worry, I got your back. Just cover for me one day." You know, like, I think he's finally like, the second time he's like, maybe a week's worth of snacks. And since he snacks a lot, Hachiken's like, "I can't do that. I'd go broke." You know, and he's like, maybe just some snacks then. You know, like that's him. But like when they try to see the tractor, he hangs back knowing that someone's going to come to their room to make sure they're there for the teacher on duty. duty only cares if one person mentions it. So he's like, I'll stay back. So that way, like, you all here? I can be like, yep, we're all 3 here. They already fell asleep. And he'll just be like, okay, like he heard Beppu, that'd be enough. But otherwise, that's really all he's there. He's there to like kind of give Hachiken that extra push when he's a little bit down, which is great.
Does he also have silver spoons, Falcon?
I do not have silver spoons with me.
I meant Beppu. Does Beppu have silver spoons?
Mm-hmm. He might. Who knows?
He might. What was it? Nishikata and Beppu, right?
Nishikawa.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies, random character. Out of Nishikawa or Beppu, who would you say you like more, personally?
Ooh, that one's tough.
Why is it Beppu?
Beppu, I feel like is the more lovable character, just because every time we see him, he's just done something like super nice or super cool.
You just like Nishikawa because he's a weeb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he is kind of a weeb, but he's also just like the farmer guy. He's also, I feel like he's always wanting to, or he mentioned earlier, he's kind of always trying to find out how to make some money. And sometimes he was also beneficial helping out with the pizza because he was able to know like about what toppings that they had would be good because the school only uses what they grow. So they didn't have, like a ton of toppings, more like vegetables and stuff. So they knew what they could put on the on there. But he's there kind of in the same deal. He's kind of there just to like kind of help out Hachiken through random stuff and then build anime figures at his desk. He also is like big into like farm like tech. So he's the one who just talks about like knowing about the tractor and when it's coming and wants to show it to Hachiken so he can see how like great this tractor is. He also helps paint sleds later on when they're trying to work for like the school festival. He ends up getting him to help out because he knows that he's kind of good at that sort of thing. But then he makes it like super like anime themed. He made like Ezono like magical girls or something, I think. That was like based off the school. And he's like, no one's gonna want to ride in this, dude. What are you talking about?
Yo, you know what would have been great if he made a design.
I just wanted them like blue or something.
Yo, you know what would have been great if he made a design of Aki, Yoshino, and Tamako as like magical girls.
That would have been great, but they're like his own like original characters he made.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious. But yeah, I like Beppu more. I felt like his character was a lot nicer. Not that I hate it. I don't hate anybody in this show. I don't dislike. Honestly, I don't dislike anybody in this show either. Maybe the main character's father, but we don't really know much about him. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I like Beppu more. What about you, Falcon?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Nishikawa, but I feel like Beppu. I remember a lot of Beppu moments better. When I think of Nishikawa, I think of when he paints the sleds,
one episode. The sled in that one episode.
Hachiken threatens to sell his anime figures. And then also the tractor episode. He also helped move something with the machinery one day that Hachiken needed, but I don't remember what it actually was. He's like, hey, I need this move. Can you do it? Yeah, let me go grab whatever. And like he goes, gets it and moves it for him. But yeah, Beppu, like you have like him covering for Hachiken, him giving him the food bar, him covering for them. Like Beppu, I feel like it's just the more memorable one out of the two, even though I think technically he's in their elite less than Nishikawa is, because Nishikawa was always like lurking around. But Beppu is the one that's a little more memorable, I feel.
I like
anything
Beppu.
You want to add about them, or shall we move on?
No, I think we should move on. I just want to take this moment to just reiterate, other than the first 3 characters we talked about, everyone else is kind of a main side character, but there's still other characters like the teachers, some of the other students, some Mikage's family. The principal is great. The equestrian club teacher is great. A lot of the teachers are great. The girl one who was at the pig pen, she was great. They're all great in their own ways.
I really like my favorite teacher is the one they show the least. He's the chicken one, the one who has like the mohawk with like the little like ponytail at the back. He's always showing up with the rice randomly when they have food.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
a teacher.
Who wants rice?
Wait, that's a teacher. I thought that was just a random student.
No, he's at their first practicum.
I forgot about that.
Where Hachiken's like, where do the eggs come out? You only see him there. There's also another teacher that helps out with the chickens a lot, so you don't see him too often. But yeah, that's him. And you see him like standing with all the other teachers all the time, but he was always my favorite. And they'd be like, oh, we have this food and this food and this food. And he's like, and piping hot rice. And he comes out of nowhere.
Rice!
And I love him to death. He's great.
I didn't know that was a teacher. That's actually, I thought it was just a teacher. I thought I was just like a random student from like a rice club or something.
No,
just happened over here like I have
He just always had a rice cooker full of rice with him, apparently.
I don't know. But But yeah, all the characters are great. If you were to watch the show for yourself, you'll probably love some of the characters we didn't even mention. But yeah, just give it a watch, guarantee. Let's move on to the music. I actually have the openings and ending themes pulled up right here. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
So there's 2 opening, 2 ending themes. There's no insert songs. There's no alternate ending themes. It's just 2 openings, 2 endings. For the first season, the opening is called Kiss You by Miwa. And the ending theme of the first season is called Hello Especially by Tsukima Switch. All right. Personally, I actually really like the first opening over the second opening. But me and Falcon here differ in that. Where Falcon's favorite opening is the second one for the second season. It's called Life by Fuji Fabric. And the ending theme is called Oto no Naru Hoe by Goose House. And this song, I've literally actually just been listening to the song really quietly in the background for this whole recording of the podcast. It's really good. It's made by, as you know, it's made by Goose House. I don't see how that's funny. If you don't know Goose House, you need to do yourself a favor and go listen to the opening to Your Lie in April, or go watch Your Lie in April. You know, eventually we'll probably review that one.
Is what that one's called.
Yeah, it's really good. Goose House is great. This is probably one of those moments where the ending theme is better than the opening theme.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I really like Goose House, and it's because I'd seen Silver Spoon and loved the ending, but didn't really pay attention to who made it. And then when I watched Your Lie in April, I was like, this band sounds familiar. And then I looked it up, and it's like they did the second ending of Silver Spoon. I was like, one of the best endings ever. And then like I just am a Goose House fan. Easily my favorite. I also though really like, all these songs are really good. Kiss You is great.
I don't really remember the first ending theme that well, honestly.
It's really good, but it's very just like chill. And the actual ending sequence isn't memorable because it's literally just Hachiken walking along one of the roads on at the school.
Oh yeah,
and all the students are just like running by him doing stuff. I really like the song. It's really chill. It really fits like a farming anime.
Oh, it definitely does.
Like that song could have been like an opening to like a Harvest Moon game, and I wouldn't have complained either. Like if it's like, hey, we're gonna have like a CG cinematic into the game, and this song plays. I really like it. It's really chill. Definitely not super memorable, and I know that's probably overall the least popular one out of all of them. But I really dig it. But yeah, second ending's my favorite. Second opening's my second favorite. Then the first opening, and then the first ending. But I still all of them are great. All of them are super great. I will say, unless it's changed, it can be hard to find some of these songs on YouTube. It seemed like whoever owned the rights to the Silver Spoon anime kept taking down the anime openings and endings.
I was listening to them on YouTube. I'm listening to it on YouTube right now.
Good. Because there for a while, I kept trying to find them. And you would find one, and it would go up, and you would listen to it like 10 times, and then the next day, take it down.
Well, keep in mind, it's literally been 7 years since.
True, they might not care as much anymore.
So they probably don't care anymore. I've noticed that with some animes. Like, I know you haven't watched Arc V in the Discord for a while, have you?
This is the second week we've not been able to do it, I think.
So the fourth opening to Arc V, I'm not sure what opening you are. You're in the Synchro Dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you started the tournament yet? I assume they already hinted at the Friendship Cup, right?
I think they've hinted at it. I don't think we've started it. If we did, we just started it.
The opening for that, I really love it. And for the longest time, I could not find it on YouTube. They had all of the other openings, but that one. And then like a year or two ago, I found it again. I'm like, oh, here it is. It's on YouTube again. So I guess maybe it's like a copyright thing.
Maybe.
That's probably what happened with this one. That's the point I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But the music's all great other than the first ending theme, in my opinion. But it's chill. It's good. The music for the anime itself was pretty chill as well. It fits it fits the theme perfectly. So some of them are pretty good. What do you think about the regular music, Falcon?
It's fine. I mean, I feel like I think the same thing about all the regular music in an anime. It does its job. It's not bad. It doesn't grate on you. It helps, but I'm not gonna just like buy a CD of it and listen to it over and over again.
So, Falcon, I have time for a question. I actually have 2 questions.
Okay.
I thought of a second question. I think I might have hinted at this earlier. I thought of a second question.
Okay.
The first question, though, the one we discussed. Do you feel like this anime perfectly depicts an agricultural school? Honestly, we kind of answered that earlier.
we kind of did. I realized that after we said that. But yeah, this totally does. I had some friends in college. My best friends from high school, we all went to the same college, they were into like the agricultural track. So one wanted to be a vet and one wanted to deal with like agriculture in some way. He didn't really know what. So I heard a lot of this stuff in college, and whatever they would tell me from their classes matched up with what was shown in Silver Spoon. So yeah, this 100% how they like take care of the animals, what happens, 100% accurate. And I think that was the main point of this like manga to anime, was to show what that's like while also having just like a coming of age story of somebody who is figuring that out for the first time, like the majority of the viewers would, which I think is just like a genius move. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Do you agree or do you disagree on this topic?
I honestly, I'm gonna say neither, because I feel like I'm not in a perfect spot to say, because I've never gone to an agricultural school. I don't know. My only experience with farming is through video games, and that's just idealistic.
Not totally accurate.
So mostly I kind of just asked this question for you to answer, and maybe if for the people who watch the anime and are listening to this podcast or are interested in watching it, think of it yourself. Do you feel like this anime perfectly depicts a good thing? I honestly can't answer that. I felt like possibly did a good job. It felt really realistic to me a lot of times. So I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna say there's still some things that probably aren't like realistic in it because it's an anime. But you know,
I feel like most unrealistic
flopping
stuff
in the wind, that's not realistic at all.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as far as like all the actual like processes and procedures and how they dealt with the animals and the farming, fully 100% accurate. Even I guess we could go into it now some with like how you find out at the end a couple of the characters' families are like super deep in debt. Like even just like what I've read and like heard about from people who are in like the agriculture field and know a lot about it, that is 100% true. And if you heard like thunder, that's on my end. I apologize.
I actually did hear that. Yeah.
It's storming really bad. I got lucky when we started that it had stopped down, but like I got woken up early this morning from like major thunder and hail. So hopefully we can it won't lurk too long. But I want to mention
season 1. They did when Hachiken was working at Mikage's farm, he made a little mistake and the milk spilled. He spilled some milk. And that costs like a lot of money.
I mean, that wasn't some milk. He spilled like, what was it, like 50 gallons or 500 gallons, something like that.
And he was really depressed about it. He was really upset. And like that can like really set back a farm.
No, that really, can literally hurt them. Like I even was reading an article one day about chicken farmers. And this was a few years ago, but I'm sure the industry hasn't changed that much in 2 or 3 years. Chicken farmers are, make sure I phrase this correctly, out of all professions, they have the highest debt ratio out of everybody. Because the companies that like buy chickens, there's only a handful and it's not regulated super great. So they can make any ridiculous demands they want. So they might say, hey, we're not going to buy your chickens from you unless you have this certain type of coop. And that coop might cost $3 million. So they have to go get like a loan for this amount of money to get the coop. So that way they can still sell their chickens and stay in business. And then literally the next year, they might be like, you know what? Actually, we realized those aren't all that great. So you have to now upgrade to this and have these restrictions. And they're constantly having to try to get loans for more money for like debts they're pretty much never going to pay off for a job that doesn't give them a ton of money. So like farming there always seems like they have a lot of debt, the majority of them. And we even find out the characters we hear about have debt. They're like, oh, we're lucky. We don't have near as much debt as like a lot of these other people do. Which kind of brings some issues with maybe how those industries should change a little bit. Maybe we should have more regulations on it. Maybe less regulations work. Who knows? Yeah, that's above us. We're not here to solve issues. Just making a point that another point that this is actually fairly realistic from what my knowledge is.
I'll agree with that. But let's move on to the next question I just suddenly added because why not? This has nothing to do with the anime itself, but it has something. It's a question I want you to personally answer. I want you to think on it, or your personal opinion. I guess there's 2 answers. What do you want and what would realistically happen? Out of what do you think would happen next? Silver Spoon season 3 or March Comes in Like a Lion season 3? What would you personally want if you had to choose one? And what would you personally feel would be as more realistic? While you're thinking about that, I'll go first since I've had time to think about it. What I personally want, I feel like March comes in like a lion because I really like the characters there. I feel like the character development there for like all the characters is a lot better. And it's just a really bright, very shiny anime, especially with an arc I know that's coming up. But realistically speaking, I'm gonna say March again because Falcon here has determined that the manga is coming out for sale next year. So that's gonna increase the money they get. It's coming over to the West, I should imagine. Not like in sale in general, but it's coming over to the West. So with that, I feel like March probably would be the most likely to get a season 3. But considering that this anime Silver Spoon just finished, that can also be a contender. So I'm gonna go on the March side. What do you think about this question, Falcon? It looks like I got you stumped.
No, I think I have the same answer as you. So I love Silver Spoon and I would love a season 3. But the way they ended Silver Spoon, I'm okay not getting a season 3. I'm okay buying the manga and reading it if I want to finish it. They kind of wrap it up at like a good little stopping point to where I feel March did it. March ended, and I think I even said we had that. If they ended better, I could have given it like a 10 out of 10. But the fact I was kind of just on the ending for where they chose to end it, that kind of was one of the like minor flaws I had for it. But also, I even looked at the manga of when the manga ended for Silver Spoon, and it ended in 2019. So yeah, that's still recently, but I feel like if we were going to get an anime of it, it would have happened by now. But we are constantly having rumors of March comes in like a Lion season 3. It seems like the studio that did it wants to do it. It's just a matter of getting the budget to do it. So I think if that studio ever got the budget, they would immediately do March comes in season 3. So I feel like I would want another season of March comes in like a lion over Silver Spoon, strictly because I think
the stopping point of the anime.
The stopping point. I don't even care if we got like a season 4 of March comes in. I would like a season 3 where they kind of had a better stopping point. But also, like, I'm with you. I really like those characters. I think it's really great. And I also feel like it would be the more realistic one. I feel like Silver Spoon is loved by the people who liked it, but I wouldn't say it has like a core fan base. March Comes In Like a Lion is one that has this really niche core fan base who's obsessed with it, who wants more of it. And everyone else who watches it ends up thinking the same. So I feel like if we were to randomly get a season 3, I think more people would watch it over a Silver Spoon season 3.
I would agree on that. But it was just a question I thought we should add. I thought it was a little fun one. Since they're both like slice of life animes that we both really enjoy. We both watched both seasons for. So let's move on. I guess favorite moments, or is there
favorite moments?
Favorite moments. Pizza.
The pizza episode is one of the best.
The pizza episodes. It was so wholesome. It was actually because it shows the school always does like these big gatherings for like these things, and it's really cool. But I really liked it.
There's many reasons why that's great.
It was cool because like at the end, it was like Hachiken's like saying how he wants pizza. No one's had pizza because they love like they can't get delivery. They haven't had that.
They're out of the delivery radius.
Hey, I found this pizza oven because the episode starts with him finding a pizza oven. He starts making it, and it's really cool because he gets like the help from everybody from all the different clubs for like all the ingredients, all everything, and then everyone just has a nice little have a good time. And I don't know why they did this. I thought this was weird, but they decided to have his old homeroom teacher come.
Oh, you don't know why they did that?
No, I don't know why they did that. That was so random.
So I'll get into it because this is also one of my favorite ones. So this is the first episode you really see Hachiken kind of take initiative on anything.
Yes.
So they start off with like a campus cleanup. Their campus is huge. It's like acres upon acres upon acres upon acres. And so they're going around. Some of it is like bucks up against public roads. They're walking around doing a cleanup. During the cleanup, Hachiken finds this like old pizza oven that's kind of like buried in trash. And so after they clear up the trash, he ends up saying he thought it'd be cool to make a pizza. And so he's able to get some of the older students and teachers to help like actually fix like the masonry of it or whatnot. But then like he gets Nishikawa to like get the vegetables for them. And he has this older food science student tell him how to make bacon so they can have bacon for the pizza. That's where he and Cheese Girl Yoshino end up figuring out where the hidden cheese is to use for everything. But all up to this point, Hachiken has still just kind of been like in a daze, doesn't really know what to do or why he's really there. He's just there trying to like figure everything out. And this is the first time that he makes a comment about pizza being good. And when they all freak out about him having pizza, they talk him into making pizza. And he finds out the school will let them do like all these projects all they want, as long as like they get approval, and they can use whatever they have at the school that's available. So he ends up getting approval from the school to do this. And this is the first time people are actually like relying on him for something. He's never been needed. But these kids all want to try pizza because they don't live near pizza, and they've always wondered about it because they see it on TV. He takes initiative on everything, and his homeroom teacher from middle school, who recommended him go to Ezono, has been worried about him. So they have the teacher coming to visit.
I did get that.
Yeah, they have him coming to visit on the episode that shows that Hachiken is doing exactly what the teacher wanted him to do by having the supportive group of friends with him at a school that will let him do whatever he wants to do as long as it's within reason. He's actually being able to find out how to make friends, how to take initiative, and how to work towards what he actually wants. He didn't start off really necessarily wanting to make pizza, but the fact everybody else needed him got him thinking on how he could make it and make them happy. So that way they might need him again in the future. It was to show off that change, that the teacher was correct. And this is exactly why Hachiken was at the school.
If you just fact drop that all, wow. Applause.
Yeah, applause.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
I won't, because I'm sitting in a desk chair and I'll hit my microphone and then you'll hear that weird sound, and that's just aggravating for everybody.
Okay. If you want to be that lame, that's fine with me.
I mean, I will be that lame.
But I guess we can both agree the pizza episode was good. What other parts did you like?
I mean, I already said Tamako flapping in the wind. That just always gives me a chuckle.
I guess it's my turn. I like the cultural festival. I like how what they did for it. They did like a giant race thing, and then they did like the thing you mentioned. I forget the
Banai racing.
The Banai racing, where basically, if you don't know what it is, basically you have these two machines. One of them is pulled by a horse, and the other one's pulled by people. And you have to try to beat the horse. The people have to try to beat the horse to the goal. And the horse they used was like a big freaking horse. Like, geez, the biggest horse I've ever seen. It was looked tough. I think they managed to beat it once out of like all the attempts. Yeah,
it was really great because Banai racing, like you said, you have these like brutally strong horses carrying like these carts with like weights and people on them that weigh like 10 or 12, 20 tons, something, I forget, ridiculously heavy. So they had it set up to where they had Mikage riding the horse with like her own cart or whatever. And then they got human volunteers to see if they could pull it up the hill faster than the horse could. It was a lot of fun to watch.
The overall, I'd say this anime was all just generally all enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it's totally just like kind of like a comfort food anime if you like slice of life anime.
And you can eat food while you watch it.
You can eat food while you watch it.
Whoa.
You can watch them eating food while you watch it.
Well, it's like you could eat with them like you're there, and then you won't be lonely like I am.
You can eat bacon while watching how bacon is made.
Whoa.
Genius idea. That actually is a very dangerous idea. So only do that if you think you can handle it. I guess another favorite moment I like, I won't say specifics as to why, because it's one of the more spoilery moments. But I like at the end where Hachiken finally has to go back to visit his family. And then his mom in turn ends up coming to visit him at the school.
Oh,
I really liked that whole episode. I thought that was that
was the last episode of season 2. So basically the last episode of the anime, and it was really sweet to see his mom like just like hanging out with all of them and like seeing Hachiken like how far he's come as a person compared to what he was at middle school.
And I think that's why I think this wraps up well as an ending, because the whole anime has been about Hachiken and his growth from this like anxious, unsure, like introvert to still being unsure, but he at least has that confidence that he can figure it out. And it finally is kind of showing at least one of his parents like understanding and recognizing what he's actually doing. And I think that's why it kind of fits really well. That may just be me. Any other favorite moments?
I actually do want to. It's not my favorite moment, but I kind of want to talk about the message at the end of season 1. But I feel like we should have favorite moments.
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that after we do like the wrap up in case people don't want to hear that. Bring back our spoiler section. How could we have gone this whole podcast and not talked about Pork Bowl?
That's because I was waiting for like the part to do it.
Gotcha. Cool. So we want to wrap it up and then talk about the more nitty gritty stuff in case we get into spoilers.
There's a lot of fun moments in this, and I'm sure if I watch them, I'll remember them. The pizza episode shines above them all to me. But as Falcon mentioned, this is basically a comfort food anime. It's really nice. Yeah. I found myself smiling a lot. It was just really wholesome and sweet. But if we want to give our final thoughts, I can go first.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
This anime is a 20 out of 10. I love it. No, I'm kidding. basically this anime, would I recommend it for a newcomer? Yes. Yes, I would. If you have never seen an anime in your life, you should watch Silver Spoon. You should hold a spoon while you watch Silver Spoon.
You should hold a Silver Spoon while you're watching Silver Spoon.
That's right. But basically, it's really good. The characters are nice, even if there's not that many characters that they focus on, other than like the first three we talked about. Mm-hmm. But the side characters are really good. They're enjoyable. They add flavor. They add a lot of flavor to the show. A lot of spiciness, a lot of good moments, a lot of funny moments, a lot of emotional moments. It's really good. It's like a baby's first anime. It's like a baby's first anime, I'd say. Would I recommend it for a veteran? Honestly, no, I would not. And the reason for that is I feel like this might be a little slow paced for some fans. I feel like you have to be pretty niche to like this anime, like we are. We both like farming games, Falcon. Mm-hmm. We're pretty good. If I were to be like, hey, you like Full Metal Alchemist, you should go watch Silver Spoon, and they might not enjoy it for some reason. I think you have to appreciate the writing like we do.
Yeah, I feel
like a lot of people, I feel like the reason why this anime is not popular is a lot of people didn't really appreciate the writing, or they write it off, pun not intended, as just a boring farm anime, personally.
No,
so
I feel
like I would not recommend it to a veteran fan. I'd recommend it to a beginner or medium fan, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm still not going to stop me from recommending it, right? You know? But that's just my opinion. Overall rating, I'm going to give this, you know what? I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed what it did. I do want more. There's some things that could be better, but obviously like every single anime, but I think it's an 8 out of 10. I will go grab 8 spoons right now.
You'll go grab 8 spoons. All right. I guess that's on to me now for recommendations.
Would you recommend this to a person, Falcon?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good anime. It definitely is a tough sale. I mean, I feel like that's why farming sims don't pick up more than they do usually, because it's a game about farming. When you think of farming, you think of brutally hard work that takes all day. Why would you want to do that in the game? But when you think about it, the game lets you do the farming without actually having to do the hard work. Makes it easier, a little more fun, a little more chill. This is a chill vibes anime. Chill vibes anime aren't for everybody. If you're cool with those, Silver Spoon, 100% recommend. I think new people could get into it, but it's also that hard sell of, can you sell them on a farming show? It's a farming show. This isn't like you're watching Andy Griffith and then he goes to visit like the farmer in the town, and it's like one episode. It's all about it.
It's that whole farming thing. It's the whole thing. It's if Andy Griffith just stayed there. It's the whole enchilada.
Right? Yeah, if he didn't go back to his town. But like, so I would say I recommend this to people if you enjoy good character stories. Don't even let the farm aspect have any meaning to it. If you like characters with good stories and good character growth, definitely watch this. If that's not your thing, no, stay away. Don't watch it at all. You're not going to enjoy it. That's its whole shtick, is about watching Hachiken and his his student, almost said coworkers, his classmates, kind of come into their own and how they help each other grow. If you're not into that thing, stay away. So if you only watch like shonens, not for you, stay away. If you like slice of life, I think slice of life fans will like it. It does it does well, but it's nothing groundbreaking. So if you're like, you only want to watch groundbreaking slice of lives, probably not. But if you enjoy solid, consistent writing and good characters, definitely give it a shot. As far as actual rating, I think I'd agree. I think 8 is a great number for it, simply because what it is, it does extremely well and is superb at it. But what it is isn't anything groundbreaking. It's very much just, here's a very good story that'll educate you in the agriculture field while telling a story like a really good, well-written coming-of-age story. I do feel like that is it. So 8's from both of us. We're going to talk into some more nitty-gritty stuff, so I'll go on and give the outro in case you all want to hop out here and you don't want to continue further. So you can find us on Twitter at BirdBroPod. You can keep up to date with us, tweet stuff at us, tell us that we suck, tell us that you like us. Hey, either one, we're cool with it. You can find me on twitch.tv at BirdBroFalcon. I stream farming games every Friday for Farming Sim Friday. If you are interested in that sort of thing, you can give me a follow. I stream RPGs and Pokemon as well. You can go there and find out about that. If you want to check the website for all of our podcasts, you can go to birdbropod.podbean.com. They're all there, and you can catch up. We do have some of them on YouTube, which you can find. Bird Brothers Podcast. I think we got the first 4 up. So we're really far behind on those. We apologize. It takes a lot of time to edit really long videos, so we were not consistent with that. But otherwise, that's where you can find us. We hope you all enjoyed it. And why don't you tell them what we're watching for next week in case they don't want to stay around?
Ladies and gentlemen, for next week's podcast, we're going to war.
Uh-oh.
We're going to war. Are you?
Sasageo?
We're going to war. Are you with the kingdom of science or the kingdom of strength? That's right. Next week, because they literally just finished it at the time of this recording, we are watching season 2 of Dr. Stone, Stone Wars.
Oh,
stay tuned for some exciting. I'm going to throw all the stones at you. Next episode, I'm just going to have a stone in my hand.
We're just going to be holding stones both the time. All right, but anyway, guys, if you're going to hop out, you don't want to hear us potentially get into more spoilery things. Thanks for stopping by. We hope to catch you all next week as
Goodbye.
Well. Caw. All right, now we're into that's enough room for people to leave. So
this is usually the part where I would go. This is usually the part where I go crazy with spoilers. But honestly, this is my first experience with the show, so I don't know. But I just want to talk about the message that the end of season 1 did. And I feel like the message at the end of season 1 was a lot more powerful than the end of season 2, in my opinion. So basically, there's this pig who Hachiken really starts loving as a piglet. Calls him pork bowl, and other people are like, hey, you shouldn't get attached because in 3 months he's just going to be slaughtered and killed and used for bacon. And Hachiken has to like struggle with himself to like understand, like, hey, these are animals, we eat them, is that right? Is that like the right thing to do? And I really like the answer that Hachiken ends up coming up with, and that basically that answer is I don't know. And honestly, that's fine, especially in the job world. It's just like that world thing. It's like it's okay to not understand or not know whether it's okay or not, but you still gotta like respect what you do, and you still gotta respect the animals to the best you can because they're just doing their job. So I think it's okay to show them love, even when you're gonna kill them. You know, there's no point not showing them love. It's sad, yeah. Never forget that feeling of sadness, or else you're basically a murderer. Basically. So it's really cool because in the anime, he makes the other farm students realize, hey, you know, we've grown accustomed to this, but maybe there is something, like maybe it's not right. Maybe there's something wrong. That's basically the premise of that. And I really felt like that was a good internal struggle for Hachiken to like try to understand. It's just like, is this right? Is what I'm doing right? Should I continue eating meat or eggs or anything, even though they come from animals and we kill animals for them? Which is why I really like the slaughterhouse episode a lot. And it was really cool of Hachiken to be able to go watch that as well to understand what happens. And then he used the money. He used the money that he got from working at Mikage's over the summer to buy pork bowls, like his meats. And he used that to make like bacon and have like a nice little cookout. It was like a nice little party. It was really cool and sweet. And he got like super popular with like all the people with that.
Because cool. he had a whole pig's worth of bacon or like pig meat. So like people were coming to like try to buy or like barter for pork to cook on their own. I mean, the whole thing with pork bowl is really well done, even just how they handle it. I really like it. So like he wants to give it a name because he wants to take care of the runt. Pork bowl is the runt. And he finds out, you know, like he doesn't understand why. They even talk about like on the pig, like the piglets fight amongst themselves for who gets like the best spot to get milk, and the one that loses at the end where milk doesn't come down as often. So he even doesn't understand why after the others have gotten done, why pork bowl won't like move to a better spot. You even find out that like pigs respect the spot they have. So even though it lost and it's hungry or not doing near as well as the others, like that's his spot. He will never move from it. So he ends up deciding to take care of it and wants to name it. And all the others are, you know, don't name it. That's stupid or whatever. And he ends up, Tomoko's like, if you're going to name it something you're going to eat. Like, so that way you're always associating it with food. So that's why they name it pork bowl, is because they could eat it as a pork bowl. But yeah, it's them not understanding why he wants to name it because they've grown up around these animals since they were kids. And I think even one of them, I think Yoshino was the one who said like, well, remember when I was little, I named like the cow we had, or I named some of the chicks, you know, and they had to deal with that at a young age of that, like sure, they're cute and fun to like be around, but at the end of the day, they're going to be gone soon. So don't get attached. But yeah, he ends up asking all these questions and questioning why they do that. And I like even the professors at one part. They go to the festival and Hachiken's still down because he knows Pork Bull's going to be dying within the next few days. And even I love one of the teachers, like, is he still hung up over that pig? Like he needs to get on over it and move on. And I think it's the pig professor, the lady, who's like,
yep.
No, this is a good thing. Like we get so accustomed to it that it's nice having an outsider come in here and actually make us question why we do it. That's the only way we're going to be able to grow in like an industry. And so like the teachers are split on if they like Hachiken's view on it or not. Like some of them are very much like, don't name it, get over, don't be sad, it's a pig, you're going to eat them later. And the others like, but maybe we should be talking about this. This is a question that needs to be asked. And they appreciate the fact he's getting them to think about it, because now that means they're going to start questioning the other things they do just because that's how it's always been done. And maybe it shouldn't be done that way.
I really like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted to talk about. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Let's see. Not really. I do appreciate the slaughterhouse episode a lot because that was already when Hachiken knew Pork Bull was about to die.
Yeah. I think it was actually after Pork Bull got sent to the slaughterhouse.
Oh, that's right. It was. Yeah. Yeah. Because I love how the professor's even like, this is really intense. It's really graphic. We're not going to force you to watch it, but if you want to watch it, come over here. We're going to play it. And seeing who chooses to go was actually really impressive in how they all responded to it.
Personally, I felt like the teacher only did that for Hachiken's sake. That's what I felt like, because I felt like before he said that, he like was looking at Hachiken. He was looking a little down considering what was happening.
He was looking at Hachiken, but I feel like that's something in most schools that you normally have a say on if you're going to watch or not. If it's going to be something that graphic, there's a lot of people who genuinely can't handle like a lot of like blood and gore. So I feel like that would have happened regardless. But I think it was Hachiken because they all knew what Hachiken was dealing with. But yeah, I mean, because even like Aikawa went when he's the person who faints at the sight of blood. The fact he was able to like stay through it the whole time and not faint, and then just see how like torn up he was after the fact. You know, it was like, how's this going to affect him with wanting to be a vet? He literally just saw pigs get slaughtered.
I honestly got a lot of respect for Hachiken when he went to go watch the slaughterhouse video. If it was me,
I think everybody figured he won it.
And if it was me and I went to like after like dealing with the pig and seeing him sent to the slaughterhouse, I'd probably just want to hide in my room and be a little sad, you know, because I get very emotional with it. Like when I grow accustomed to things. So it was really he went to go see it. I'm like, yo, mad respect, dude. You know, you didn't have to do that, and you're learning more about the biz, seeing what happens. I respect that.
Yep. But yeah,
I guess that's it.
Really it, I guess. Yeah, we don't really need to get into like the Mikage and Komaba family stuff, I don't guess.
No, we kind of mentioned it a bit.
We can leave that for you all to figure out.
Yeah, go watch the anime right now. Silver Spoon on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, so that has been our podcast on Silver Spoon. We hope you all liked it. We definitely enjoyed it. I've already given the socials, but Twitter, BirdBroPod, website, birdbropod.podbean.com. You can find me on Twitch at BirdBroFalcon or Condors and chat most of the time. So, hey, you can chat with both of us. It's a lot of fun. Oh, we have a Discord. I forgot to plug that earlier. Link is in the episode description. Copy, paste that into your browser. And you
now,
can hang
if the people didn't want to listen to the spoilers, they wouldn't know we have a Discord. So now you have to go back in time and say it. I'm not going back in time and saying you have to go back in time. Anyway, guys, we gotta start the whole podcast over again.
I mean, I'm gonna have to edit part of it out anyway, because right as I hit record, you said you were like, blah, blah. I was like, but anyway, that's besides the point. Thanks, guys, for coming out. We've been the Bird Brothers. Hopefully, we'll see you next week for Dr. Stone Wars
season 2.
Season 2. We're gonna fly out now. Enjoy.
You didn't say it.